Good evening. Here at RFD-TV, we know that our viewers are animal lovers, just like we are. Dogs, cats, horses to cattle. Our viewers love them all and own them all. Tonight, we'll introduce you to a line of unique products from Tomlyn Veterinary Science. First off, we'd like to welcome back our guests. I'm Amy Wilson, joined by Dr. Eric Alsop. We also have Dr. Jim Lowe, and we'd also like to welcome Brittany Green. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So we'd like to start by having each of you tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I grew up in the rural parts of Kansas, grew up with horses and cattle and dogs and cats, and have had them all my life. Very fortunately, I think. I got my veterinary degree from Kansas State University several years ago, a few years ago. Practiced for several years, predominantly equine practice, and then entered into the animal health world and have been quite happy in that for the past few decades. In the meantime, my wife Tina and I have raised 5 kids and tried to give them as much involvement with animals as we could too. We always have had multiple dogs and cats around, and the kids got a chance to show cattle, show horses, show pigs, so we've got them very involved in livestock. And Tina manages to have ducks and goats and a menagerie around the house too. Now that the kids are grown and gone, Tina and I focus a little more on our own interest in that area. We still have a full house of all kinds of animals, all kinds of test subjects for our Tomlyn products.
That's great. Brittany, how about you?
I'm originally from Newnan, Georgia. I went to Georgia Tech. I got my bachelor's degree in industrial science, so a lot of consumer products and development. I've been product development for the past 12 or so years, and animal industry for the last 7 years. I've been the product manager for Tomlyn for the last 3 years or so, and love working with animals. I'm more on the pet side, so I've always had cats. My family has owned dogs as well. I have 2 cats of my own at home, Izzy and Rowdy, and my wonderful husband Andy. We're here in Fort Worth, Texas now, and we're both very athletic. We're both really big into running, and I do a lot of marathon running as well, so keeps us busy.
For sure. Dr. Lowe?
Well, I was born into a military family that morphed into an oil field family, so I moved quite a bit, but ended up in Texas in the early 80s. I attended Texas A&M University and received my veterinary degree in 1995. Practiced in Texas for most of those 17 years, with a little stint in Arkansas and Kansas and Montana as well, but came to our parent company about 7 years ago as a technical services veterinarian, and I've been in industry since. I've also been on the sales management role, and now I'm in the solutions development management part of our business, where we're really trying to build a deeper customer insight, know our customers much better, and develop solutions to recognize problems they have in their industry. I reside in Cocoa Beach, Florida, because I'm married to a Florida girl, but she was a veterinary technician for almost 20 years. And as such, there's been plenty of opportunities throughout the years to adopt animals. So we have 4 cats and a dog and a beautiful 10-year-old daughter who's going to change the world someday, and I have every belief she's going to. So it's a pleasure to be here.
It is so great to have all of you. Dr. Alsop, we'd like to start by having you tell us more about Tomlyn Veterinary Science.
Oh, I'd love to, Amy. Thanks. Tomlyn, interestingly, was started in the 1970s by a veterinarian named Tom, his wife, whose name was Lynn, and hence the name. They actually were pretty frustrated at the time that both in practice and for their own pets, there was such a lack of quality supplements that really had science behind them and had any good work. So initially just in their kitchen, they started working on different formulations, testing palatability, and making sure that whatever they put together was backed by science, that they could actually credibly offer it to their clients. Then they set up a company to offer it wider than just their own client base. In about 2001, Tomlyn was acquired by Vetoquinol, the parent company, which is a global animal health company, animal health pharmaceutical company. And that has actually allowed that legacy of Dr. Tom and Lynn to continue, because being part of that Vetoquinol umbrella keeps the science in, keeps professional formulation going, professional palatability testing, and keeps, most importantly, the science behind all the products we put out. So I think Tom and Lynn are proud of the way things have evolved, and happy that their name and their products are still out there.
For sure. Brittany, Tomlyn has a great portfolio of products for dogs, cats, ferrets, horses, and calves, and you just recently launched a few new exciting products for dogs and cats. Let's start off talking about those new products just released.
Yeah, so we are very, very excited, which is strange because they're very unique issues. So the first one is called Loose Stool Remedy. We also call it Firm Fast. You can imagine what that one is for. It's for dogs and cats. And we also have Urinary Tract Health, which is also for dogs and cats. And we're just super excited to add these to our portfolio of products that we can offer the pet parents.
Jim, if you would, tell me a little bit more about the new Firm Fast product.
Well, as Brittany says, it really addresses a common problem. Everybody's experienced it when they got home after a long weekend or boarding their animals and get the report back from the boarding facility that things didn't go quite as well. We know there are issues there with stress, changes in diet, dietary indiscretion that can cause looseness of that stool, which is really basically just excess water in the stool. What we do with this product is it contains kaolin and pectin. Kaolin is a product that lines that irritated gut and soothes that inflammation. It also helps absorb a lot of that water, as does pectin, so we're trying to firm that stool up from that aspect. An additional benefit is it contains a probiotic. We know probiotics are very important to re-inoculate healthy bugs in that gut, also provide a little bit of immune boost. So the fact that we can do that in a single product is very beneficial. Easy to administer in a gel, which makes it easy for our customers. It does come in a tablet as well. The other nice thing we have, though, we know also with response to the product, there's also some benefits sometimes of adding additional pre and probiotics to fully inoculate that gut, and we also offer that to consumers in a product as well.
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to their dog getting diarrhea, so what are some reasons that happens?
Well, stress in general. You know, in private practice, I saw it with boarding dogs. As soon as mom and dad left the parking lot, the dog becomes stressed. Sometimes the GI tract is the first thing to go. Medications, changes in diet, certainly fireworks and holidays. All of these things can cause upset GI tract. So it's a very, very common problem, and it's one we really sought to find an easy solution for owners.
Dr. Alsop, can you tell us about any times that you've used this product and why you think it's different?
Amy, I wish I could say no, I've never had any use for this product, but we have 4 dogs around the house all the time and about 8 when all the kids come home at Christmas. So there's been a lot of use of it around the house. Some key examples, tying on to what Dr. Lowe was mentioning, of the stress. Let's take Christmas time. Christmas time is a good example in our house. 8 dogs running around, having a great time, but there's a lot of chaos, a little bit of stress. And people leave out food that our dogs aren't used to eating too. So whether it's rich food that we have with Christmas dinner or some of the candies and sweets they shouldn't be into, that's why we really like having the 2 forms. If an animal's already showing diarrhea, we find it best to use the gel. You can get a quick dose in, get the quick activity. But more often than not at our house, something's come up. We know the stress of fireworks or Christmas, or we know they got into something that their stomach's not used to having to digest. And at those times, we just get out the tablets. We don't wait for the problem to start. We get out the tablets, dose the animals. If we know who's had a problem, then it's one, but sometimes they're all getting in and we just dose the whole group and prevent it up front. As Jim said, knowing that probiotic is in there as well, just knows that if there's any kind of damage, disruption in the gut, we're replacing some of those microorganisms that are so important, and that also crowds out some of the pathogenic microorganisms so they can't get a hold.
Good information. Brittany, how easy is the new Firm Fast product to administer by pet owners?
So thankfully it is very easy, because usually once the pet gets into a situation where they are distressed and they're showing these signs, then they may not want to eat right away, or they're just a little adverse to it. So the first one we have is a gel. It's available in 2 sizes. It's based on the weight of the animal. So it's a dial-a-dose syringe. So based on the weight, you just dial it down to whatever the number of cc's are for the pet. And it's a very palatable gel, and you can either shoot it right into their mouth. You can mix it in with their food if they happen to be eating. It's usually the easiest way to go about it, especially for cats if they happen to have these problems. It's available in a tablet form as well. It's also very palatable, but it's a little bit larger, so some might be a little unsure about it. So you can either crumble it, put it into food. We also have Pill Masker, which is great for taking pills or chewables. You just smear a little bit on it and makes it even tastier for the beef flavored tablet.
Let's talk about the time frame of when these methods are given.
Well, you can certainly, as Dr. Alsop said, can use it before the symptoms are going to be likely to occur, especially animals that board quite frequently. They have commonly had this problem. This is a very easy product to take with you when you take the animal to the boarding facility. When it occurs, as soon as possible, and then within administering it every 8 hours, as is recommended, we would expect resolution within 24 to 48 hours. Anything over that length, we highly recommend getting an evaluation by a veterinarian to make sure it's not something more complicated.
Let's elaborate.
A key point I'd make, Amy, is that the products, the kaolin, pectin, and the probiotic are such a safe combination of products too, which is something we look for in all of our Tomlyn line. So there's not a concern that if they don't have a problem, then I'll create constipation. There's none of that. Nobody has to worry that they shouldn't give it in a preventive manner. It's a very safe product to use.
Let's elaborate a little more, which everyone would like, on probiotics.
Yeah, that's a great one. Let me start on that.
Okay.
The probiotics that are in there, one thing that happens when a pet or a human or any other mammal gets diarrhea is that we tend to have a flushing effect, a negative effect on the normal flora that are such a critical part of our life. And that not only takes out a part of the key element of digestion, it also opens the door for pathogenic bacteria like E. coli and Salmonella, which are always in our environment, but they're normally held at bay by the normal flora. So if you flush those out and don't replace them, you have the opportunity for those pathogens to take over and make things a lot worse. We have the probiotics that are in the product, that are in Firm Fast, and then once things are resolved a little bit, we generally recommend that people for at least a few days get on our pre and probiotic follow-up. The probiotic in that product, in our probiotic product, is at a higher, they measure those in colony forming units. So the number of probiotic bacteria is at a higher level than you'll find in any other product for animals on the market. And the prebiotic is just the special nutrients, the right stuff to feed those probiotic bacteria to keep them alive, reproducing, and doing their job. So that it really makes a complete care package to get them through a stressful time.
Great information. As we talk about all these products, Brittany, if our viewers are interested in purchasing, what is the information about that?
So they could go to Tomlyn.com. They can read up on each of the products individually. And if they are looking for a retailer, we have a store locator tab on our website, and they can find a Tomlyn retailer close to their home, or they can go to one of our authorized online retailers as well.
Any other comments that we haven't gotten to yet? I know we want to take some callers in the show and hear some testimonies, but anything we didn't get to?
Anything else
That about covers it.
On the Firm Fast?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I want to give out the phone number so you can write this down. It's 844-264-0022. We will be taking callers during this show. You see the number there on your screen, and you can call in, and hopefully we'll be able to get to you tonight, and you can talk to our great guests here that are in studio talking all about the products. We do need to go to a quick break, but we will be back to talk all more about the Tomlyn veterinary science products, and they are joining us tonight on Rural America Live. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to Rural America Live, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Amy Wilson, joined by a great group of people here to talk all about the Tomlyn veterinary service products, science products. Sorry, I keep saying that. My vet at home, it's veterinary service, and so I keep mixing that up. But that's live TV, right? So we have Dr. Eric Alsop. We also have Brittany Green and Dr. Jim Lowe on the end. And so we get the chance to talk all about these products. The last segment, which we brought some to the desk here, last segment we talked all about the Firm Fast. Brittany, there's another product just released. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so we have our urinary tract health product, and it's developed for cats and dogs, and it helps maintain a normal urinary tract health and healthy waste elimination. So.
Let's go into more detail about that. Sure. What can we add?
Well, quite a bit, actually. We always think about urinary problems happening in cats, and the reason we think about it in cats more than dogs is just because they have a very small diameter urethra, so if they get stone formation, for example, it becomes an emergency situation. And so people don't think it occurs much in dogs, but it's approximately 1 in 7 dogs is going to have a urinary tract infection at some point in their life. And so it's really important for both species, our products is made for both species. What it does basically, again, we try to focus on nature as much as we can and on safety as a high point of the Tomlyn products. This is a product that's made from extract, cranberry extract and some other ingredients that tries to normalize the pH, acidifies the pH to a more normal level so that you can maintain normal urinary health, not have the cystitis. If you get that pH out of balance, it sets up an environment that allows bacteria to come in and colonize and create problems that can be really difficult to prevent. So particular areas you'll find or be familiar with, female dogs certainly get urinary tract infections more than male dogs. We'll see it more in small dogs, and some retriever breeds have actually seen it more. Why is it more common in those? Well, the females have that shorter, broader urinary tract to begin with, so it allows bacteria to get in more easily. And my daughter has a little Yorkshire Terrier, and every time that poor little thing squats to urinate, their rear end's rubbing the ground, so they have a lot more contact with the dirt, the soil, and the pathogens that are there. So that the small dogs can have a greater problem with it too. After dogs are spayed, a hormonal change occurs too, which sometimes creates incontinence. Incontinence keeps that area moist too much and allows bacteria to develop on the outer edges of the urinary tract and eventually getting in. So these are some predisposing factors that really make it important to keep on top of and really watch for signs of urinary tract infection. And we feel very glad that we've been able to bring to the market a product that really helps manage that.
For sure. So what in particular about spayed female dogs, small dogs, and retriever type dogs makes them the ones that could especially benefit from using Tomlyn's urinary tract health?
But just because those points that make them so much more susceptible,
right.
that short and more open urethra that makes it easier for bacteria to get in. That poor little Yorkshire Terrier of my daughter's who's constantly rubbing the ground or the grass, and they have more things predisposing to get the bacteria in. So it's more important to keep a close eye on them. As you step into cats, the problem actually flips over the other way, and the males are they're not necessarily more prone, but the consequences are worse in the males. They can get blockage of a very narrow urinary tract and be actually a life-threatening crisis. So managing them and staying on top of it and making sure we don't miss it is important.
Well, as we continue talking about these products, I do want to give out the number again. It's 844-264-0022. So we welcome callers on tonight's show. If you have questions or if you have a testimony, we have a great group here ready to answer those calls. We want to talk now about why you would recommend using this product on cats. We've talked about dogs. Elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, as Dr. Alsop said, we certainly know things like obesity, also underlying metabolic problems like diabetes in cats, which is very common, can predispose these animals to urinary tract infections. We also certainly know that the urinary tract is not a completely sterile environment. There are always a low number of bugs in there. The added benefit of cranberry extract is a compound called proanthocyanidin. We'll call it PAC just to make it all easy for us here. And it is what these PACs actually do. If you will imagine an E. coli bacteria in the bladder, it has all these hair-like projections on it. We call them fimbria. And these hair-like projections allow that bacteria to stick to the bladder wall. An organism must stick to the wall small before it can begin to cause an infection. What these proanthocyanidins do is actually disrupt those finger-like projections and basically prevent that bacteria from attaching. If the bacteria can attach, then there is not like the likelihood of infection and that organism is safely flushed away. And we're happy to know that with our derivative, we have the highest level of those packs. So the reason we're taking a cranberry extract, we're giving it to our pets is for that active ingredient, which we have very high levels.
Brittany, could we get you to talk more about how this product is administered and what sizes it's available in?
Yeah, so we have 2 sizes available, as you can see, and we have a 30 count size that's for small dogs and cats, and we have a larger size and 60 count for medium to large dogs. And on the back of each bottle, we have the sizing instructions, and the reason why we have 2 sizes is because the larger dogs tend to need a larger dose. So these should last about a month because this is something we recommend to have daily. So they're beef flavored tablets, and they're actually, I can show you one out here. So yeah, they're actually fairly small. You can crumble them up, feed it to them directly. You can mix it in with their food. It's a great method to feed it to them. It's great to feed to them daily, and it's the same formulation. It's just a different size. So obviously the cat parent can also get the 60 count if they prefer.
And if our viewers are interested in purchasing these products, how is the best way to do that?
So, same as Firm Fast. They can go to Tomlyn.com. They can read up more about the product in particular. They can also go to our store locator, which finds Tomlyn retailers near them, and they can also find authorized Tomlyn online retailers as well.
Great, so Tomlyn.com, check it out for all the products and more information. We've been talking about the 2 newly released products and have informed viewers about them that Tomlyn just released. We want to talk more about the second product just released during this show, but first we want to go to Paula Gregg. She has a testimonial that she would like to share about her experience with a few of the products that Tomlyn has in their portfolio. So she will be joining us on the phone to talk all about that. I believe she has cats, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll get to
Paul's
hear.
terrific.
We'll get to hear more about that. Any other comments about these products or anything that maybe we missed
just
or that
wanna
we
add-
should elaborate more on?
Again, it gets to my opening comments about
Right.
the importance of Tomlyn having a veterinary pharmaceutical parent. These products have been tested in the veterinary practice and under slightly different names and labelings, but they've been tested for, I don't know, Jim, probably decades now. They've been used. Veterinarians are going to be very familiar with the ingredients in the products, and they'll very quickly recognize the safety and efficacy of the product. So it's very much tied in with great veterinary care. It's just that the Tomlyn focus is to present products that we can market directly to the animal owner because of the assured safety, the natural nature of the products, and the ease of use.
Well, Paula joins us now on the phone. Paula Gregg from Lexington, South Carolina. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Well, we would love to hear your story and your testimony that you have for us.
Thank you. I grew up with dogs, to let you know up front, and lived within the first 20 years of my life, and I've been owned by cats the last 40 plus years. I remember the very first time I saw a hairball being thrown up, I walked in the living room and said, "What in the world is that?" Because I had no idea what it was. My first cat was a short-haired cat, and luckily she only had a couple of hairballs, and we didn't have to worry about it. But I got my first Persian cat back in 1995, and long, thick, luxurious fur. And she had several hairballs. And at the time, I'd always been told that Laxatone was the thing to get. And she did not like the texture of it. I'd put it on my finger, and it ended up falling off on the floor because she would get one taste of the texture of it and not like it. So I would put a slab on my finger and pry open her flat-faced mouth and put it in the back of her throat, and she would use it, or she would swallow it. And it did well as long as I used it. Well, I got 2 new Persians back 8 years ago, Truffle and Brulee, and that's probably some of the pictures you might see of the girls. And at that time, I started doing a lot more pet influencer with brands and attending conferences with Blog Paws and going to Global Pet Expo, and met the people at Tomlyn and did not realize then that the hairball remedy was Laxatone. And they came out with different flavors, and especially the catnip. My girls, I open that tube, and they think it is a treat. Both of them will fight each other to lick the gel out of the tube. So it's no problem giving them the gel at all. I do get, you have to excuse my voice, we've got a lot of pollen in the south. 90-something degrees still in October. And I have tried to give them the Hairball Remedy chews. They are a little bit large because both of my Persians are small cats, and their mouths are very small, so I have to break it in pieces. So I just assume watching the joy of them licking the gel out of the tube. And it really does work well for them. I have no side effects. As long as I give it to them on a regular basis, especially during shedding season, they do really wonderful with it. They are not always like the various flavors, but I can always rely on the catnip flavor for them. So I've been using that for probably going on now between my two cats, 8, 16, over 25 years with them in one way or the other. I was recently introduced to the pill masker. I had been real lucky up until a couple of years ago. Both of my cats are very healthy. But then Brule, she got a really bad upper respiratory infection and spent a few days, I am so sorry, a few days in the emergency animal clinic. And I had to give her pills when I brought her home. And I ended up writing a few blog posts of the battle of the pills, and it was always Brule 1, Mom Paula 0, or Brule 2, Mom Paula 0. I would try with the pill poppers. I would try the little instrument where you put the pill in it. Yeah. I would try to poke it in the back of her mouth. I would try to wrap it in cheese. I would try to pound it out and mix it in her food. I tried everything out there, and she would always get to the pill and spit it out. And I knew she had to have the medicine. I had gone down to Global Pet Expo and met with some of the representatives at Tomlyn. They said, you ought to try this pill masker. I said, well, anything is worth a shot. So I came home and opened the jar, and she immediately stuck her flat face down into the jar to start licking the product. I started feeding it to her at first as a treat so she'd get used to it, and she ate it right up, so I started mixing her pills in it, and it has been a miracle for pilling her. I wrap a pill in there, and she takes the pill with no problem whatsoever. Last year, Truffle ended up having emergency surgery to have bladder stones removed, and she had ended up staying in the hospital an additional week because she got an infection. So I took a container of the pill masker to the veterinary hospital to give the pills, and they loved it too. So that is the miracle for me. I sing its praises every single day because I have no problems pilling my difficult cats.
Great information, Paula. Any comments from any of you or questions?
I'd like to ask you, Dr. Gregg, you have such beautiful cats with that gorgeous, and that gorgeous hair. We love seeing their face down in pill masker or the Hairball Remedy Laxatone. Can you assure us that with that beautiful coat, you don't have any problems with staining or with it sticking in the hair coat?
Not every once in a while, if the gel actually gets in their coat, they'll start licking it off, and they lick it off completely.
Yeah, good.
If I try to comb it, I just spread it, but if it falls in their fur, they just lick it off, and it's no problem, and it does not stain their silver white fur.
Great. That's what we like to hear, because if it was staining that beautiful hair, I'm sure it wouldn't have much of a place in your home for long.
No, it would not, because as you can tell, a lot of people tend to shave their Persian cats and give them these, lion cuts.
Right.
I did not get Persian cats to shave them.
Exactly.
To keep their fur long and luxurious. It is a daily job. Yeah. But yes, I would not use a product that would mess up or stain their fur.
Any other comments from you guys? It has to be a lot of fun to sit here and hear someone be so excited about products that have worked for that many years.
Yeah, especially somebody with the influence of Dr. Gregg as a blogger and somebody that a lot of other people turn to for advice on their pet care. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, so Dr. Gregg, I believe you're the Vice President of the Cat Writers Association, is that correct?
I am. I retired 2.5 years ago after 40 plus years in education as a math teacher and a college professor and in government. in higher ed. And I really got into the pet influencer business and blog about my 2 cats. And I became the vice president 2 years ago of the Cat Writers Association and will be probably the incoming president next year. So I am looking forward to that challenge and working with other people who love cats and share information about cats.
Yeah, it sounds like a great opportunity to be able to share not only your love for your cats, but also the products that help them stay at their best as well.
Exactly. There have been many times people have written, I'm having trouble pilling my cat, or I have all these hairballs, and I have actually put links to the Tomlyn products in threads on Facebook for people. So you've got to try this, especially the pill masker. I have put that out there several times, so you must try this. It is a miracle for giving pills to a cat.
Gosh, thank you for that.
Yes, thank you so much for calling in. Again, we've been talking to Dr. Paula Gregg. She's from Lexington, South Carolina, and good luck with the heat. It's still pretty warm here in Texas, too.
That's okay. You're in I wasn't sure where you were. I was calling into, so yeah, you're still pretty warm down there.
Yep, we are. Well, thank you again. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.
We want to talk more about the products that she talked about and gave her testimony.
Yeah. The pill masker is just a very special product for us because some of the other products, as Dr. Gregg mentioned, they're preformed and it's easy to separate the pill from the product. Pill masker is actually a gel that you can just wrap around a pill of any shape.
Okay.
It's a flavor they love. At our house, it's sometimes just rolled up and given as a treat, and Dr. Gregg mentioned that too. Sometimes if you get a jar of pill masker, you can just start out just playfully presenting it as a treat, and once they know how great it is, they kind of ignore that there's anything inside. And that's great in dogs, finicky dogs, but we all know that there's nothing like a cat for finicky. And if, as she said, you can get your Persian cats to take pills in that way, that is pretty special.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to point out that it's great for cats or dogs.
Right.
And one canister contains up to 50 servings. What other details would people be interested in knowing?
Well, I think the fact that it's just super sticky and it's customizable, so you can pick off the amount that you need. And if you find you take off too much, you can always put it back in the jar and you can reseal the jar and close it and set it to the side and it'll be fine for the next time. There's no separating it out and making sure the bag is closed. It's much easier to handle. It's not going to slide off the pill or they're going to eat around it. It's very challenging to do that with this stuff. And usually the cats and dogs don't have a problem eating the product. So it's nice to know that it works for dogs as well as cats, because cats are always the ones, if they go home with a pill, it's usually, well, I'm not going to end up giving that to them. So it's great to know that the bacon flavor isn't a deterrent. The fact that it's sticky isn't a deterrent. They will continue to take the pill if you need to.
Good information. She also mentioned the hairball remedy, and that comes in a gel form available in multiple flavors and a chew.
Yeah, it's actually one of the foundation products of Tomlyn and Vetoquinol, and is so essential. Being, once again, I know I keep saying this, but being a very natural product, a very safe product, you don't have to worry about an overdose. And it's just a way, on a preventive even, with long-haired cats particularly, to make sure that they never build up that hair deposit in their stomach and intestines that leads them to those coughing attacks that leave that awful blob on the floor. So it just helps things go through the way they were meant to. Do you want to add anything to that, Dr. Will?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up. Yeah.
Well, we do also have a natural formula too, because although the current formula comes, it's very safe for any pet to use. Obviously, it's geared towards cats. We do offer a natural formulation as well that is beeswax and some other vitamins and minerals. So that way, it's a little bit safer passage in case you happen to know if your cat has a certain irritation to petroleum jelly.
Yeah.
And this hairball remedy, you mentioned it's one of the pioneer products. So some pet parents may know it as a different name, right?
Yeah, that's the hairball remedy. It was long known as Laxatone, which actually gives me a chance to say that as a few years ago, we did a series of pet owner focus groups and really asked them what we needed. And they told us that brand names may be good, but What we need to know is that products, when we go into a store, that product's going to meet our needs. And that's why we did some of this relabeling to say this is a hairball remedy. Laxatone's the name underneath. Both of those are on the tube. But somebody who's never heard of it can walk in and know that it fixes the problem that they need cured.
Yeah, it just really takes care of that confusion, and they can just know exactly where they need to go to take care of things. Any personal testimonies about these products? I know you talked about how many 8 dogs at Christmas time with your family or something like that, or customers that you've had?
So I have 2 long haired cats of my own. So we have our own issues with hairballs at our house, and something that Dr. Paula Gregg touched on was all the flavors that we have available. For the longest time, it was available in maple flavor, which you never think is something that a cat would enjoy, but our top flavor for the longest time. We also offer tuna and catnip, and tuna is the one in our house that goes over the best. We've tried the chews as well. Cats are finicky. They're gonna pick what they like, and they could change it too. One day they like gels, one day they like chews. So we always have a couple around just in case. Right now we're getting out of shedding season, so we're very grateful, but they'll still continue to get it every couple days just to stave off any hairball attacks.
Yeah, good. Well, we want to go ahead and give out the number again in case there's anyone watching that would like to call in with a question or a comment about any of the Tomlyn products. The number is 844-264-0022. You can see it on your screen as well if you'd like to write it down and call us. We are here in the studio in Texas, and it's great to have all of you here. Any other comments about the products that we've talked about so far? I know there are so many products with Tomlyn, but we're focusing on a few with dogs and cats. Any other comments?
Yeah, personally, the pill masker. We have an English bulldog, which is a veterinarian's dream because they always need medications, and I know for ours it works very well. One thing I always talk to customers about too, or the added benefit of the product is to use it as a treat, as a training aid. Certainly it's a nice way, to reward a puppy as we're teaching them to sit still for getting their ears cleaned or their nails trimmed. It's just really easy to break off a little piece and use it as a treat as well. Or when you know an animal's going to be receiving a medication quite regularly from allergies, something like that. And that's truly another benefit of the product.
Great. Well, again, I'm joined by Dr. Eric Alsop, Brittany Green, and Dr. Jim Lowe. It's a great pleasure to have you guys here in studio with us. We're talking all about the Tomlyn products, and when we come back, we will talk more about the products that you have to offer. You're watching Rural America Live on RFD-TV. Be sure and call in. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to Rural America Live, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Amy Wilson. Tonight we are joined by Tomlyn Veterinary Science. We have Dr. Eric Alsop, we have Brittany Green, and also Dr. Jim Lowe. Thank you all again for being here to talk all about the products. As you can see, we brought some to the desk here. Again, I want to give out the phone number. We do have some callers that we're looking forward to talking to. That number, 844-264-0022. We've discussed several products. Brittany, tell us what you have.
So here I have the dial-a-dose syringe I was talking about a little bit earlier. So I just kind of wanted to show how this worked, since sometimes they don't necessarily, pet parent may not see this in very often. So depending on the weight of the animal, you would dial the syringe down, which is this little thing down here. So depending on the size, so if let's say you have a 10-pound dog, it's only going to be 1 cc, so it's going to be very far down on the syringe. And you would just crank it down, and it's a very palatable paste. There's actually been a few people in the office that have tried it, and they can confirm that it actually tastes a little bit like confectioner sugar. So you would just take this little cap off, and once you're ready to administer to the pet, you would just depress on the syringe, and it's easy as that. You can put it right into their mouth. You can mix it in their food. It's very palatable, and this is usually the one we recommend when a outbreak is occurring, since it's tasty and it's easy to give. We also have the tablets available. That's great to have on hand for emergencies. If you know an episode is upcoming, guests are coming over and going to feed table scraps, you can just go ahead and just pop a tablet to them and just take care of it right then.
There you go. Any other comments about the products that we have? displayed here on the
Do you want to
desk.
show them the pill masker?
Well, actually, real quick, let me show. This is urinary tract health. But so the pill masker that we have here, we were talking about it earlier and how customizable it is. And as you can see, it kind of comes in this paste. So it's very sticky. And you just
you mentioned it's sticky, but it never sticks to our fingers. It'll stay around the tablet very well. It doesn't come off of it, and yet it doesn't leave a residue. It doesn't stick to your fingers or to cat or dog hair or anything. It's a wonderful, easy product to use because you don't have to have a different jar for a different size pill or anything.
Yeah, and you can see that it just forms up really easily into whatever shape you need.
That's Jim making the dog treats he was talking about.
Yeah, this is great for training. If you're trying to learn new tricks or maybe obedience, this is absolutely perfect because a little bit goes a long way.
Didn't work so well when you were trying to train me, but for dogs and cats, it works pretty well. Huh?
The flavor kind of stays in your mouth.
I was going to say, you said some people in the office had tried the paste, and
We're very serious about our palatability studies.
you tested out yourselves. That's good. And the final product you have sitting here?
So we have the tuna flavor of the hairball remedy, also known as Laxatone. That's what it was launched as. So sometimes there's a little confusion. People don't realize that it's the same product. So we make sure to keep the name on there as well. It comes in 2 sizes. So this is the larger size, and it comes in one just a little bit smaller than this. And it's a very easy to give gel.
Great. Well, I think we have a couple of callers launched that we want to get to and talk to. Let's go now to our first caller. Welcome to the show. Do you have a comment or a question about Tomlyn products?
Hello?
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, I'm calling because I'm really, really impressed with Zilkeen and what it does for my quarter horse. And especially, before parades with sirens and motorcycles and all sorts of loud sounds. I'm just wondering, do they have something like that, or is it available for dogs? Because I have large dogs, and the 4th of July or those fireworks or loud thunderstorms really give them a lot of anxiety.
Great question. Who would like to?
That is a good question. Absolutely. We actually have a product for dogs and cats that came out before the equine product. So it functions off the same philosophy of why it works for your horses. Again, it's a hydrolyzed milk protein that just provides a sense of focus, improves the coping mechanism. So for dogs and cats, we absolutely do have it in capsule form, so it can easily be broken over the food for the same symptoms and issues you talked about: storm anxiety, the holidays, boarding. In fact, it's interesting, we talked about using the loose stool remedy with dogs that are boarding that tend to have problems. Well, many times that's stress related, and you could certainly add the product Zilkeen with that, try to alleviate the stress, also get ahead of the curve on the GI health as well. But we absolutely do have the product.
And additionally, in Tomlyn, we have a related product called Relax and Calm. We're always trying to provide the pet owners a direct option that is, again, I'm being redundant, but very safe in our product line. So Zilkeen is there for those serious episodes. We have Relax and Calm, which is L-tryptophan, kind of associated with Thanksgiving dinner and the turkey and the way you feel sleepy after Thanksgiving dinner, that has a very beneficial effect. And we do at times when you need to, they affect the animal at different points in different ways. So we at times use the two together when we need that extra boost. The Zilkeen capsules and the Relax and Calm, which is also in a chewable form, which sometimes makes that really convenient to use when you don't when you don't have pill masker close by, don't want to have to worry about that. You have the chewable Relax and Calm. So we do actually have a variety and kind of a platform approach to that behavior care for your dogs and cats. In addition to, we're very grateful for your testimonial and your positive results on the use of Zilkeen in your horses.
Yeah, for sure. Are you still with us?
Yep.
Okay, great. How long have you used the product on your horse?
Oh, about 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's great before parades where there's sirens and a lot of strange noises. I mean, she's bomb-proof or husband-proof, as they call it. But once in a while, we just do it to feel better about the environment, of the unknown.
Yes, for
I
sure.
agree completely. That's a great use of it, and we just know that they're feeling a little better. You can sense that, can't you? Just a reduction in the anxiety that makes both of you feel better.
Yep, I appreciate it so much. Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thank you
your
for the call tonight. Yeah, we've talked a lot about the dog and cat products, but she mentioned horses. That's
Right.
what I'm passionate about. So it's great that you have products across the board for all different animals. We do have another caller. It's Mary from Colorado. Mary, welcome to Rural America Live. Do you have a comment or question about Tomlyn products?
We do have another caller. It's Mary from Colorado.
I think we're just hearing some feedback. Mary, are you with us? She might not be allowed.
I'm Mary.
Okay, great.
I'm Mary, but I'm from Virginia.
We'll take it. Welcome to Rural America Live. Do you have a question or a comment about Tomlyn products?
Yeah,
Great.
I have a dog that had black wounds and she was incontinent for.
We might
I
have,
don't even talking to me. I don't hear it.
Do you have your television on? Sometimes we get some feedback from that if you have your television on in the background.
yeah.
Oh, should I? No, not.
Well,
Hear me now?
I don't think she can hear us talking back to her
Okay.
right now. So we'll hopefully get to talk to Mary later. Oh, you can hear us. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah,
little bit of
I
confusion.
have a dog that had bladder crystals and had an operation. She almost died. She was incontinent for a month, but she's better now, and she's on a diet. It's Royal Canin,
Yeah.
urinary SO. And I was just wondering if there's any supplements that you provide that would help prevent that from happening.
Well, certainly, given the extent of her issues, I know you're under good veterinary care. One advantage of the urinary tract health remedy is there really is no contraindication because it's a very natural cranberry extract. So it's not going to interfere with the specialized diet you describe, and I'm sure some of the other maintenance you have your pet under to maintain that urinary health. I would still recommend visiting with your veterinarian about the addition of the cranberry extract, but one benefit of the product is it's not going to interfere with the diet and the other therapies you're using right now.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your call tonight. As we continue in this segment talking about a lot of different products, and we appreciate the callers and you guys being able to answer all of their questions, any other products that you want to highlight for small animals?
Brittany, is there some
I
particular
can
ones?
personally attest to our immune support for cats. Our immune support for cats is a product containing L-lysine. L-lysine is an amino acid that we know has provided some benefits in supporting respiratory issues in cats. Many cats with the drainy eyes, those kittens that we find under the barn that have the congested noses and the crunchy eyes, and many times those can have underlying viral problems that they'll have the rest of their lives. And what we find with supplementing with L-lysine is we can prevent as much of those recurrences of the cough and the congestion and the junky eyes. We have the product in a gel, we have it in a powder, we have it in the chews, and I can attest personally one of ours, as soon as you open the doors to reach for the chews, he comes crashing for the door, and it's very easy to give and a highly palatable treat. So I think the L-lysine, and it's a highly recognized supplement for cats with chronic respiratory issues.
Great. So there's calming aids, there's first aid products for skin, ear, and eyes, and also a high-calorie nutritional supplement. Any of those you want to talk about?
Well, the high-calorie nutritional supplement, some people will know it under the brand name NutriCal. It's a similar story to what we told recently in Laxatone. And it, again, is one of the products that the company was built on. It's used particularly in animals that are debilitated for any reason, sick, they're not eating enough, or a lot of dog show people use it because the dogs get nervous at the show and they're not taking in enough calories. So it's typically a gel form, typically used in the gel form. Very high calorie, very concentrated, so you know they're getting enough calories and nutrients to get them through and not lose weight during that period. So it's been a very, very important product in the history of our company, one of the ones that's most associated with the brand, actually.
And you mentioned that we have some dermatological products as well. Excuse me. So in addition to all these supplements we have these products for skin, for eyes, for ears. I'm notorious for suggesting some of our ear products for friends, and I noticed their dogs might have some little gunky ears or something. The pad cream is actually really fantastic. It's great for rough pads. It doesn't damage the floors. It's non-greasy. So you can give it to them, they can lick it off, it's super safe. Actually, a lot of the ladies in the office, when it starts to get dry in the wintertime, we actually pop open a jar and we use it ourselves, so it's very safe. Nice minty flavor, not taste, scent, excuse me. And it's great. We have all these products in addition to the supplements, and it's full care for your cat and dog.
We have a hip and joint supplement. In our house, the dogs tend to be pretty big, and those big dogs are subject to more joint inflammation and issues as they get older. So the hip and joint supplement helps them get through, especially if it's started early in life. It helps them have the building blocks to keep those joints healthy.
Great. Well, I mentioned that you provide products for all different animals.
Yeah.
We focused a lot on dog and cats in this show and the products that you offer, and being able to show them to our viewers. And you all have those animals, dogs and cats, and we have pictures of each of your animals that you do have, your pets. Any other personal experiences or any other comments about any of the products that we haven't touched on yet?
I've been able to use Relax and Calm. I know Eric talked about it a little bit earlier. It has that high level of L-tryptophan and chamomile and ginger to help kind of settle the stomach a little bit. I actually like to talk about this product. We were doing a product shoot for some of our products, and I gave a cat some of our Relax and Calm products, and I was able to give it eye drops. So,
Wow.
yeah, I was able to give a cat eye drops because the Relax and Calm made the cat very chill. He was very relaxed. He wasn't drowsy in any way, but he was very easy to work with. And you can probably not say that for many other cats if it was in a video shoot situation. So it was very cool to see our own products at work and how effective they are.
I think it's important for anyone just joining us to know the history of this company and that it's all backed by veterinary science. Any final comment you want to make on that? Of course, we encourage people to check out Tomlyn.com for all the information and to order the products, but I would love to get another comment of you explaining that a little bit.
As I told you at the start of the show, the Tomlyn was started by a veterinarian named Tom and his wife named Lynn back in the 1970s. It became part of Vetoquinol, a global animal health pharmaceutical company, shortly after the turn of this century. And what's been great about that is that Tom and Lynn worked in their kitchen initially to get formulations that were science-backed, that were highly palatable, good formulations. And being part of a veterinary pharmaceutical company has allowed us to continue the tradition they started, always making sure we have science behind the products, always making sure they're well tested, additionally in a formal environment, and then after that with all of our pets and around our conference tables.
We're down to our final minute. I want to say thank you again for being here. We mentioned 2 newly released products. Highlight those real quick.
Well, the 2 we're so proud to be putting out right now are our urinary care product and the one that we like to call Fast Firm. That's a diarrhea care that shows a little bit our humor in our product line. But both, as typical of Tomlyn products, both very safe to use, very natural type products that we offer direct to the pet owners, so they have a way to really address these issues when they need to.
Great. Well, Dr. Eric Alsep, Brittany Green, Dr. Jim Lowe, thank you all for being here from Tomlyn Veterinary Science. We appreciated all the information. We encourage everyone to check out Tomlyn.com, and thank you for watching Rural America Live on RFD-TV. Have a great night.